Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching The Big Bang Theory. This is the 9th episode of the 6th season. Hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you like today's full episode, it is available for the link in the description below. Just click on it, put the password in and enjoy. So last episode we had Leonard. He was getting jealous of Penny because somebody on her college course was coming around. They were studying together. He's from England, you know, he's got a British accent, and Leonard was feeling a little bit jealous, and he was saying everybody who has a British accent, everybody loves. And you know, I didn't raise a question last episode because we was talking about the major talking point that followed that later on in the episode. But in terms of accents, what's your favourite accent in the world? You know what I mean? Like, if you could pick any accent now that you really do enjoy, like, which one is it? Now, I actually like an American one, but I like the southern Texas, like, cowboy style. And you know, you might think, oh, that's crazy, that's well crap. But the thing is, I think it's because people always like an accent that they never hear. So, for example, here in the UK, we kind of like slap bang around Europe, and we hear the Spanish, the Germans, the French, you know, we have the Polish and Slovakians and Slovenians, and we are very diverse, and we have so many accents here. We have the Africans, you know, the Indians, English as well, a couple of Americans, but we don't really get the minute details. And I actually think that the cowboy style, the Texas style, is really good and obscure, and we don't really hear it much. And every time I hear it, it's like pleasing on the ear to me anyway. But obviously, like, probably people around that region probably hate it. So I'd be really interested to see, obviously, what's your favourite accent around the world and what gives you the most enjoyment. Now, obviously, the main talking point was at the end when he actually, you know, was having a conversation with Penny. He was saying, you don't need to be jealous. You know, I've got a picture of you on my fridge. You know I love you. And just carried on with a conversation without them both realising that she actually dropped the L-bomb for the first time, and both of them was kind of like overwhelmed, and they both nearly started tearing up, and Leonard just went into his apartment and she just went to work. And I thought it was really, really funny. But that's great. You know, I thought it was always going to break up, and now obviously it looks like they're going strong again with the L-bombs being dropped. It's fantastic stuff, and I can't wait to see obviously how they progress forward moving into today's episode. Thanks for checking it out. If you do enjoy it, please smash like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into today's episode.
Mummies and zombies are the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah? Mummies are wrapped in bandages.
That's called a fashion choice.
You brought this on yourself. Sheldon, get him.
If a zombie bites you, you turn into a zombie. However, if a mummy bites you, all you turn into is some schmo with a mummy bite.
Hey, fellas, what's going on?
Mummies and zombies again.
They're not the same thing.
They're actually not, are they?
You get a cookie, too.
Guess who picked up his new car this morning? I want to check it out later. It's parked right out front. Space 294.
That's my parking spot.
Why do you have a parking spot? You don't have a car. You don't even drive.
It doesn't matter. That's my spot. It's perfect. It's a corner spot, cutting the risk of door dings in half. The nearby tree provides shade on hot days.
Fun story. Meanwhile, you still don't have a car.
Don't try to change the subject. This is about a parking space. It has nothing to do with cars.
Are you listening to yourself?
You leave me no choice. President Siebert, listen to reason. Yeah, I understand I don't use the parking spot. That's not the point. Well, that's some salty language. Yeah. May I remind you that you're the president of a major university, not the president of the Potty Mouth Club. He says Wallowitz deserves my spot because he's a high-profile asset to the university.
Sheldon, let it go. It's not a big deal.
No, this is a slippery slope, Leonard. It starts with a parking space. Where does it end? Leonard, you're my best friend. Why don't you ever take my side?
Because I can never understand your side.
I'm actually firmly on the side of Howard in today's episode. Like, I love Sheldon, but it's like the time he was driving Penny's car and he got a ticket and he couldn't go and see Stan Lee, and he was blaming Penny and saying it's all her fault, when in reality it was all his fault. He was the one that ran the red light. He was the one that committed the crime, not Penny. It doesn't matter what vehicle it's in. And it's also the same as well, utilising a resource, you know. If this, let's just say, like, let's not just single one parking space, because that is what we're talking about. But let's say there was 10 individuals in Sheldon's situation in that university and they all got assigned a parking spot. Now, if 10 people didn't have a vehicle and they got a mode of transport into work, either bus or train or cycle, do you know what I mean? That's 10 unused spaces that could be allocated to people that could actually really use it and need it. And I'm all for giving it out and utilising what you got. Like, it's an absolute waste of it being there. So just because it's Sheldon's spot, what Howard should have said to him is, look, Sheldon, I understand that that's your spot, but while you don't have a car, it's going to be utilised by somebody else, so it's not a wasted place. once you get yourself a vehicle, you can take that spot back. It's completely yours again. So that way, you're not saying you're taking it away from him. It's always Sheldon's, but while there's nothing there, it's going to be utilised by somebody else.
Give it back.
I'm sorry, but could you be more specific?
My Iron Man helmet. Kuther saw you take it. Give it back. Sheldon, that is a $500 limited edition collectible, and I want it back. Fine. I'm taking your diploma.
Go ahead. The only doctorate you'll ever get.
Again, like, not to pause it all the time, but like, that's the same situation as the Mummy and the Zombie. They're very, very similar, and they could be based in kind of the same field, but they're two totally different things. The same as here. Just because a parking spot is inactive and not being used, it's not the same as taking an ornament or a decoration or something in somebody's possession that's not being used. You know what I mean? You could come in and just take the picture down on my wall and say, oh, well, you've not used that for ages or whatever, so I'm having it. It's like, well, it's not the same, is it? You physically got something that should be used by people for its design purpose. That helmet is a collectible, it's being held, you know what I mean? I understand what he's trying to say, two the same things. How can you complain when I'm doing the same thing? But it's not. It's like the Mummy and the Zombie. Very close, but totally different.
How you doing?
Oh, a little sensitive, but not bad. Does it always take that long?
No, they don't usually have to go out and get more wax.
Hey, anybody want a drink? Sure.
So did you spend last night hearing about this silly parking space fight too?
For hours. Fortunately, I couldn't understand most of it because Sheldon was wearing that stupid robot mask. This is what we get for being with two testosterone-fueled alpha males. At some point, they're bound to lock horns.
I'm assuming these are some kind of horns they bought at Comic-Con.
Sorry they took Sheldon's spot away. He shouldn't have to suffer just because Howard's such a big deal now.
I know, Sheldon should just let Howard have his little moment in the sun. Howard's never gonna go to space again, but Sheldon will always be a genius.
I'm sure Sheldon would get a fancy parking spot again if and when he makes a worthwhile contribution to science.
Okay, maybe we should change the subject. Amy, how are your lady parts? Still chilly down there?
None of Sheldon's theories have ever been definitively proven. My husband actually went to outer space.
You know, I remember the first time I got a bikini wax. My sister did it with melted Crayolas and duct tape.
Jamie, I'm sensing a little hostility. Is it maybe because, like Sheldon's work, your sex life is also theoretical?
Hey.
Damn. Well, at least when we do make love, Sheldon won't be thinking about his mother.
Whoa.
I don't have to take this. I'm gonna go home and have sex with my husband right now. Maybe I'll let him do it to me in a parking spot.
And he's naked.
Stop being naked in my spot.
Howard, what are you doing?
He wasn't using it. And I needed a nice, cool piece of leather to wiggle my naked ass on. I have to say, I thought you'd be more upset that your laptop is sitting on my junk.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. That's a nice touch.
It is, isn't it? Hey, it's a pretty good episode, this one. I'm actually really enjoying it, you know. He's going back and forth with Sheldon, Amy and Bernadette are going back and forth, and those are some good digs between both of them. And I'm not taking sides of Amy or Bernadette, but I've said it many times, and I don't want to be the parrot, but as Bernadette said, yeah, all Sheldon's work is all theoretical. Nothing's been ever proven. At least her husband has done something worthwhile and contributed to science, and I've been saying it all the time. He might not have a doctorate degree, but he's actually done something in his field of work that I've physically seen that's actually made a difference to society. And, you know, that was a good back and forth, though. I just enjoyed the banter between them. That was really funny.
This is so exciting. I'm feeling all tingly.
Is swarming with campus security. They will not hesitate to scold us. Oh, yeah. Now, pull your car into the spot and let's get out of here.
Wait, I'm leaving my car here?
Yes, and be sure and put on the emergency brake. Really makes these things tough to budge.
I want to show you something I had done today.
All right, you color me intrigued. I think you're high on paint fumes. Boy, that's a lot of Band-Aids.
Howard's mother is in like every one of your wedding photos.
What can I tell you? She's a big girl.
Oh, looks like someone's on Team Bernadette. There's Howard.
He's not here. What's wrong?
He had my car towed. It cost me $200 to get it back.
Oh, no. Where was it parked? Was it maybe in Howard's spot?
Tell your husband he owes me $200.
Well, that doesn't make sense either.
Why not?
Because I'm the one who had it towed. Didn't see that one coming, did you?
Well, you're not going to see this coming.
Whoa.
What the hell do you have in there?
Just keys and a coffee can full of change have a meeting to take to the bank.
Maybe this has gotten a little out of hand.
Gee, you think? Penny, Bernadette and I are sorry.
You hit her. What did I do?
You had my car towed.
You were parked in Howard's spot.
I was parked in Sheldon's spot.
Sheldon doesn't have a spot.
Guys, I think I need to go to the emergency room.
Morning, Professor Stevens. Hey, don't look at that whiteboard. That's my math, not your math. You can't stay there forever. Actually, I have a plastic baggie strapped to my leg that says I can. Simply due to... Thing can move.
He's gonna bump him slowly.
Get out of my spot! No, that's it. I am calling campus security. He's trying to kill me, Leonard. Video games and rock music have desensitized him to violence.
You're both acting like lunatics. It's just a parking spot.
It's not just a parking spot. He can't handle the fact that I'm a bigger deal than he is.
If you'll excuse me, I have work to do.
Can you believe this guy?
What I don't believe is that you tried to run him over.
Oh, like you've never thought of doing that.
Sound like he got in the car. Yeah.
Hey, sweet ride.
Stop that! You stop that!
The thing is, so it sounds like he's more jealous of not losing the space, but more of, oh, they're trying to play it out that one's bigger than the other. Do you know what I mean? Like at first, well, to me anyway, it's just about a parking spot, but now it's more about who's more important, who's seen more as the prestige figure inside the university that requires that spot. And that's why I can kind of understand that. I don't mean I'm on Sheldon's side, that he's obviously countering argument to that, because Sheldon always wants to be number one. Do you know what I mean? And if he sees it as now Howard's a bigger deal than him, and he has to list off his accomplishments like that, then obviously he's going to feel like he's not number one, he's number two, he's been knocked down, and he can't actually deal with the fact that, you know, Howard now has leapfrogged him in the terms of science. So that's interesting.
Calm down. Howard has something he wants to say to you.
This whole thing with the parking space started, I had no idea just how much of a crazy bastard.
Howard!
Anyway, I called President Siebert and told him it's not worth fighting over the spot, so you keep it and I'll park in the structure across the street.
I must be the bigger man. You may use my spot until such time as I learn to drive.
Thanks. I don't know what to say.
No, there's nothing to say, except I'm the bigger man. I'm
Competition.
Not kidding, say it.
You're the bigger man, Sheldon. I'd like to propose a toast to burying the hatchet.
I'm kind of glad this happened.
Me too. In a weird way, I kind of feel like it brought us closer.
Yeah, everybody's happy. Great.
This cushion experienced a nude revenge wiggle. His diet is rich in fatty deli meats. What tests do you have to detect lipid residue?
Tuesday, okay.
No, don't rush it. We may be dealing with befoulment on a molecular level. Looks like that laptop's seen better days. If you're interested, I'm selling this.
The thing is, I'm thinking about this episode here and listening to the wording of it, you know. I was saying, so at the start, he had the spot. Then he lost it to Howard, and then obviously all episode he was bickering back and forth, and doing little pranks here and there, because that's what they technically are. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing malicious. It's nothing too crazy. It's just, you know, I take your helmet, you sit on my spot. You know what I mean? I get in your car, I take the space. It was just like back and forth, and then he had an argument, and then it made me think that it was Sheldon that was actually upset and a little bit miserable the fact that Howard's done something successful. You know, like Bernadette was saying, and. You know, he's no longer the top dog. He's no longer the person that everybody kind of looks up to, and he's losing his privileges. But then if you go on and on and on, and when he come to the office and apologise, you know, he said that I'm going to park over into the, you know, the multi-story across the road, and I'll walk to work every day from there. Sheldon said, look, you know, until I use the spot, until I get myself a car, then yeah, you can have it, you know. And then when I do get that, the Batmobile, I'll park there and you'll have to park somewhere else. And that is a solution that I said should have been offered up earlier on in the episode. Literally factually said that. I said, look, mate, that can be always your spot, but until it's occupied with a vehicle of your own, I'll use it. But then it got me thinking, maybe he was just mad because he wasn't asked, you know. Because he come over and said, I'm taking your spot now, it's mine, it upset him. Where if he went over in the first instance and said, look, Sheldon, I've just acquired a new car, you've got a parking space that you don't really use and I have to park really far away, would it be okay if I borrow your space in the meantime, while it's unoccupied until you need to utilize it yourself, and then I'll hand it back. You know what I mean? And I'm like that in real life, actually, thinking about it. If somebody tells me to do something, I'm not doing it. And I'm not even doing it at work. You know, I don't care. Yeah, even if I've been there for years, like my job now, if somebody comes in and says, you're doing this, I'll say, I'm not doing it. Now, you can come in and ask and say, can you do this, please? You know, have we got this deadline? Are you able to do this? Or can we get this done? But if somebody comes in and says, I'm having this, or you're doing that, I'll be like, no chance. And I'll stand my ground and be a bit petty and annoying like Sheldon. So got me thinking, yeah, maybe if you come in and just asked in the first instance, the whole episode could have been avoided. But let's be honest, I thought it was a good episode, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. It was funny from them, and it was funny from the girls. I put today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hope the guys enjoyed it. So back and forth banter between Sheldon and Howard about the space. At first, he took his helmet, he took his spot, he took his helmet, then he arrived in his apartment, then he claimed his space back, and then he nearly tried to run him. He didn't really try to run him over, but like he was nudging him forward, and then he went into his vehicle and obviously sat down naked as well. You sit on my spot, I sit on your spot. Very funny, I enjoyed it, and it was petty from Sheldon in the episode, but you know, as we got towards the end, and I was thinking, you know what, nobody ever asked him, did he, was he okay with him just lending it to Howard? He was just demanding that he would take it. Maybe it's not Howard's fault, you know, he's not gone and spray painted his name on that sign there saying H. Wallowitz, you know what I mean? So that's why Sheldon was upset, but he gave us a good episode, and I like the fact as well that the two females, their counterparts, you know, the partners, both stuck up for each other. They was both in, obviously, Penny's apartment talking about the situation, and then obviously Amy was saying about Sheldon, Bernadette was saying about Howard, and then I do think they speak facts when they say, look, you know, Howard's made strides in his field, and he is like a mini celebrity right now, and that'll probably pass, but you know, Sheldon's all theoretical, and if they want to give him a space, then he should be allowed to give him a space. And they've obviously gone back and forth and said a few things here and there, and she's gone to her apartment, and they've argued again. She's got to hit her with the bag and missed and pinged Penny, and then obviously she's had to go to the emergency room and be taped up, and at the end they, you know, squash the beef when everybody's around the table. And Amy was saying, look, I'm kind of glad that we went through this experience. I feel like we kind of got brought closer together, and I actually think that as well. You know, if you go throughout the show and the friendship, they've always been friends. I don't think they've ever disliked each other, but Amy's always been like penny bestie, and like she's never really been busy mates with Bernadette, but she's always been collectively in the group, and I feel like maybe something like this would bring them together a little bit, and it's probably been good for them as well, to be honest. So I enjoyed the episode. I think we used a perfect blend of the men and the women and the couples in today. I enjoyed everybody. It was funny throughout the whole thing. I think it's one of the best episodes of the season so far, to be honest. I think that it's been decent, but I don't know. Sometimes little things tickle your pickle, you know what I mean? And like today was one of them. I really enjoyed the back and forth banter between them. Hopefully that may continue throughout the rest of the season. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.